and I want to welcome you to another episode of Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer, and I'm seated this afternoon to discuss respecting yourself. This topic has really been going back and forth in my spirit for some time, and I'm seeing a lot of low character behavior by very privileged people, and it really is upsetting. It's upsetting, it's irritating, and quite honestly, it pisses me off to the fifth power. So just recently in the media, Michael Jordan released a statement, and he said Obama is a shitty golfer. He, accused Obama of being a shitty golfer. And I thought, wow, here is a multi-million-dollar man, black man, who will know, has seen, experienced more privilege, more money, more prestige, more power than most of us will ever experience. And so he has the blessing to be able to play golf with the first black president in the United States of America, racist America. And in fact, it's still so racist that they haven't admitted that he's actually not the first black president. He's a biracial president because his mother was 100% white. But I sidebar. Back on track. So here he gets this privilege, and the best that he can come up with in talking about that experience is to describe the president with all his responsibility, whether he's doing the job well or not, is as a shitty golfer. I mean, talk about respect. This is a guy that's stingy. My understanding is Michael Jordan contributes very little. He has never been someone that's been involved in the black community. I was always someone that never bought his gym shoes because I felt like here's a poor kid that comes out with a gym shoe that's like $130, $140, where poor kids leave school. I taught over at Orr High School. They used to cut school to go buy the latest Jordans. They were overpriced, and at the end of the day, they were just a gym shoe. You understand? This wasn't anything that you could use to get a scholarship. It didn't increase their test scores. It didn't make them better human beings. In fact, many of them paid the price. They got robbed for their Jordans, beat up for their Jordans. All kind of stuff happened for these shoes. And so here's this guy. This is not the guy that builds community centers or schools. This is not the guy that gets involved in civil rights or politics that deal with anything outside of his selfish privilege position. Commenting on the first black president of the United States. And I thought, wow, isn't that disrespectful? And Michael Jordan is just one example of it. I thought back to Kanye West this past where at this point he was dating Kim Kardashian / small time porn star who here's a girl who did a home porn movie with a basically wannabe star Ray J, because Brandy was always the real star, and catapults herself to a position of privilege via the mother's pushing. So the mother pretty much they made it work for them. Who's being compared to the First Lady of the United States. And so what Kanye said was he made this comment about how he believed that Kim Kardashian's bikini pic of her, of an Instagram, how like her Instagram, the First Lady's Instagram couldn't look as good as his girl's Instagram. And I'm sitting here, why would we want the First Lady of the United States, this is a global position, this is an international position, be promoting herself in bikinis and giving us butt shots and twerking? Like, just the whole thinking behind it. What gives you the right? Neither one of them, Kanye or Kim, have the right to put Michelle Obama's name in their mouth. Like, they're really on a lot of character levels are too low even for that. But in spite of that, he had the audacity to take a shot at this woman's appearance who, by all accounts, her ratings are high. The American public in general like Michelle. She's an attorney. She's a mom. She's loyal to the president. There's been no question about that. She presents herself pretty polished and professional. She's pushing a really nice agenda about getting moving, getting active. Who is he to say this? Amazing stuff. So I started thinking. I said, wow, the level of disrespect that has been hurled at this office with this first black president from black people is mind-boggling. And then I thought about Snoop. So here we have pretty much white Americans decided they like Snoop. Snoop is everywhere. Snoop's on late night. Snoop's doing skits. Snoop's in movies. Snoop's everywhere. Nobody and listen, Snoop Doggy Dogg hasn't rapped a new lyric in years. Everything Snoop raps, he ends up spelling his name. So he has, not only is he smoking the weed, his lyrics, which he was never really a lyricist, have gone down to simply spelling his name, which is on the level of Dr. Seuss at this point. But once again, I sidebar. Here, the best that he can come up with is to let us know that he smoked weed when he went to visit the White House. Now, every other president before Barack Obama, nobody has ever had Snoop, wanted Snoop, thought of Snoop, to inviting him to the White House. So he finally gets his tail to the White House, and the best that he can share with us is not how incredible the White House is, not the interesting evening, not how he feels like he wants to promote a positive agenda, because the truth is Snoop does do community stuff. He is somebody that's very involved in Little League Baseball, involved with his boys in that respect, as much as he promotes this other side of himself. Snoop does have a side that is very much, at least in terms of community, and in the community that he grew up in, he does model the behavior that was given to him by his grandfather. So here you have this guy that definitely has another side. And as much as he is an entertainer, he is a bit of a businessman. Why would you come out and tell the whole world that you managed to sneak into the bathroom and smoke marijuana? And then I got one better for you. Why is that your intent? That the best you can do when you get invited to the White House by the first black president of the United States and his wife is that you feel the need to go in the bathroom and smoke marijuana and let other folks know. And we're not going to act like other entertainers, white entertainers, don't smoke weed. None of them would have ever gone to the White House with Bush or Clinton and come up with this. So I'm having this podcast to really understand, where's the respect at? And I'm a firm believer that you can't respect anyone or anything until there is authentic self-respect. You must respect yourself. And then as part of respecting yourself, you make an effort to self-regulate. There's just certain things you commit to not doing, not saying, ways you don't conduct yourself. I mean, and listen, the impulse is always there. Every now and then, I'm in a grocery line and, some lady gets smart with me. And I want to let her have it. But I've gotten to a place where I control myself. I think it, have a short fantasy about it. It usually plays out where I usually Alice her to the moon, the twisted fist where it goes up under the chin. She shoots to the sky, falls on her back, and her feet turn out. Okay, this is all like 3-second, 5-second fantasy. But never would I do any of this stuff. And I'm amazed at what they're comfortable doing and how disrespectful. And these are all privileged people with lots of money and lots of comfort that do these sort of backward things. And it is mind-boggling to me, because the majority of black folks are hurting. The middle class has been virtually wiped out. The working class has been beaten down to the bone, to the point where, pensions are taken and health benefits are suspect. The housing market took the greatest asset most of the middle class has, took your house from you. And so, and then you have a whole bunch of resources that working class and middle class people who never imagined having to use are using. They're having to use link cards and medical cards and get assistance with child care and all, get, subsidized housing, all these things. And to boot, there's really no market for them. They're saying, yeah, you got these skill sets, but we actually, we're so youth driven. And so here these people don't face any of this. They don't face any of this. And then they get direct contact with the President of the United States. They have an opportunity to say, here are needs. And it doesn't even have to be for the black community. They can decide that they're, look, we don't like the war. We want to support you on looking at issues that involve women or children. We want to talk about more support for men. Lots of men are coming, back with post-traumatic stress syndrome. We have lots of men who need resources, just in general, issues with mental illness, issues with incarceration, all these top of the line, hard pressing issues that every American face. And instead, we get bull crap from Michael Jordan about Obama being a shitty golfer. We get Kanye West comparing his woman's body to the first lady's, who's, by the way, there's no competition here. And then, because, Michelle was never competing. She's not even on that level. She has no interest in being on that level. And then you get Snoop Doggy Dogg that, of all the places to smoke weed, you have to sneak in, and listen, there's a piece of me don't even believe it happened. Believe he just talking smack, and that pisses me off. So I'm asking you, who's checking who? Where's the moral fiber of Black America? Where are we at where this is okay? Why would you even want to embarrass the president on that level? Why would you even want this to be a part of the conversation in communities? And everything now is global. It gives such a black eye that, it feeds into that stereotype. Yeah, you let one of them in and everything goes bad. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Shame on them. And shame on us that we're not taking them to task for it. It's, on one hand, it's not our responsibility. On another hand, it is. Lot to think about. Lot to chew on. This is a bit of a rant, but it's an important rant. I love Black people. I love all people. I'm probably more of a humanist than anything. But you always start with self-love, and all of us start with our own groups. And that's just how it is. And that's a healthy place to be. It's the group that you know the most about, is where you've had your greatest amount of experiences. It saddens me to see adult Black males with privilege conduct themselves this way. You've been listening to Beyond the Surface Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Wanda J. Evans-Brewer, and until we chat again, be safe in God's grace.